Hi! Welcome to this part of my review featuring the Weird Frontiers role-playing game. If you haven't seen the other parts of this Dungeon Crawl Classics style Weird West role-playing game, please check out the playlist in the description below. In this part, we are going to continue taking a look at the different character classes. First, we have the Gambler. There's a certain poetry in the flip of a card. A romance between the skill of the Gambler and the flirtations of Lady Luck. Know when to hold them, know when to fold them. Simple rules for the discriminating gambler for a simpler time. Nowadays, that courtship with the lady is far more literal. You've always been lucky and had a keen mind for probability and chance, but since the 7 days of night, luck is like a fountain that you can dip your cup into. You can drink deeply from that cup, or you can pass it around and share your luck. The simple cards, tricks you learned to limber from your fingers have been charged with power as well, providing some defense for the times when the lady is feeling downright ornery and spurns your advances. When it comes to hit points, the gamblers are pretty decent, somewhat sturdy, not much when compared to other more frontline based characters, but the gambler still takes quite a bit of damage before going down. Your crit die is also pretty decent. Your fumble die is average. When it comes to the action die, gamblers use their action dice for attack rolls and all class ability and skill rolls unless otherwise noted. Concerning luck, the gambler's current luck modifier is added to all saving throws. Lady Luck has taken quite an interest in you. You have a mojo die. To represent their lucky nature, the gambler gains the use of a mojo die that is rolled at any time they burn a point of luck. The mojo die type is determined by level. You have a progression chart displaying this. One mojo die is rolled for each point of luck the gambler chooses to spend, thus giving a variable amount of luck for each point burned. Gamblers regain spent luck points at the rate of 2 points per level at the beginning of each new day. The gambler may also rub some mojo on a friend needing a boost. Using luck this way works out similarly by rolling the mojo die for each spent point. Now, concerning the path of the gambler, gamblers are a self-serving lot with an occasional flare-up of genuine feelings for the well-being of their allies or good-natured folks they run across while traveling to the next big game. So because of this, they typically begin by walking the line and usually stay the course throughout their lives. The signature weapons of the gambler are those that can be concealed or hidden underneath the gaming table, such as derringers or bladed weapons. And gamblers start off with a decent amount of money actually. It makes sense because they are constantly winning money through gambles. Now let's talk about some of the class abilities. You have Bushwhack. The gambler makes their living spending a large portion of time amongst shady sorts that most folk would not consider inviting to Sunday dinner. Given the questionable company they keep, a gambler of worth quickly learns to watch their own back and the backs of those around them. Bushwhack is the stealthy art of delivering an attack that catches the target off guard, maximizing the damage inflicted. You have Dead Man's Hand, and I love this. This is obviously a tribute to the death of Wild Bill Hickok. A gambler might keep a derringer in their boot, a razor in their pocket, or just friends with big guns close by for those occasions when they need to slide out of disagreements. However, there are times when the wheels fly off the wagon, and a trip to the hereafter is the only sure bet that's on Fate's table. It's for these times that the gambler has one last trick up their sleeve. Digging deep into their store of luck, the gambler can charge a normal deck of cards with the primal energies of chance and release that energy to their advantage. To use Dead Man's Hand, the gambler spends 1 point of luck to charge the cards. The charged cards take to the air in a swarm around the gambler until used or the ability expires. To use or maintain the ability, a point of luck must be burned each round. Cards may be used the first round they are charged. Once the cards are charged, the player reshuffles their gun deck, which is then used for the duration of the ability. I really love this special ability. It reminds me of the deck of many things from Dungeons and Dragons. You are basically flipping out cards, and depending on the card, you get different effects. So for example, if you draw a card with a number on it, it strikes automatically for a mojo die of damage for each card. But if you flip an ace or an 8, of course, it's a misfire. The gambler takes damage and gains a hex token. We will talk about hex tokens in a future part of this review. Additionally, cards lose their charge for the round, and the dead man's hand must be reinitiated. There are many effects. For example, if you draw a Jack of Hearts, the card spins in the air over the gambler's head, spitting out a random number of fireballs at one or more targets within 50 feet. Each fireball automatically hits the target, inflicting considerable damage. Additionally, targets suffering damage must pass a reflex save to avoid catching fire and taking further damage. If you draw a Jack of Clubs, the card bursts into a mound of pebbles that land and begin churning the earth around the gambler on the round they appear, forming a heaving mass of sticky mud that swells around them, intercepting attacks. This grants the gambler a random bonus to their armor class. But what if you draw a Jack of Spades? The card instantly liquefies over the head of the gambler, showering them with healing liquid. The gambler is instantly healed should they be wounded, and gains a number of temporary hit points if fully healed. Additionally, drinking the liquid allows a reroll of a failed saving throw the gambler is currently under the effects of. So as you can see, you can never tell what you are going to obtain when drawing the power of these cards. There's also shady dealings. The gambler is proficient with a set of specialized skills that help them with games of chance and other less honorable ventures. So you're going to be very effective at cheating, high tolerance of alcohol, questionable pursuits, that is, the gambler gains a bonus in rolls related to non-violent criminal pursuits. And these are just some of the many abilities and effects of the gambler. Now let's talk about the Gunslinger. While the spirit world is filled with poor souls just wandering the flip side, there are a few that want to find their way back and finish blazing the trail of justice they left before their untimely demise. These spirits of vengeance anchor themselves to the weapons they used in life, possessing the shooting irons they once used to exact justice. These ghost irons carefully select a person strong of heart and with fast hands to continue serving up justice in the weird frontier. They act as mentors, taking a sharpshooter's aim and increase it to supernatural levels, allowing for shots that border on the impossible. The Gunslinger is very good when it comes to taking damage. You start with a considerable amount of hit points. You also have an excellent crit die. You have a normal fumble die. And concerning the action die, Gunslingers use their action die on attack rolls and all class related abilities and skills otherwise noted. Gunslingers apply their current luck modifier to initiative rolls when using any firearm. When it comes to the path that the Gunslinger takes, the righteous spirit possessing the ghost irons always looks for a person destined for the path of the righteous, but all Gunslingers begin the game by walking the line. Ghost irons eventually disown Gunslingers choosing to walk the path of the damned, refusing to even fire straight for them. Rumor has it that dark-aligned Gunslingers, called pariahs, have appeared on the frontier, dead set on hunting down Gunslingers blazing the righteous trail. The signature weapons of the Gunslingers, of course, are the firearms. However, sabers and bladed weapons are usually picked as a backup for when they run out of ammo. Concerning the skills of the trade, Gunslingers are very skilled at survival, horsemanship, and tracking. Now let's talk about some of the class abilities of the Gunslinger. Some of these abilities require the use of a ghost iron, and some do not. You have Deadeye Die. The spirit possessing the irons augments the Gunslinger's own natural aim, making impossible shots a reality. To represent this, you need to roll a Deadeye die when you make shots from a ghost iron. Adding the result to the ranged attack often allows for jaw-dropping feats of accuracy. When firing multiple shots during a single round, use the Deadeye die result rolled on the first shot for all additional shots fired. In addition to the added accuracy, ammo loaded into the possessed firearm is charged by the essence of the spirit and counts as magical once fired. You also have Eagle Eye. Gunslingers have preternaturally good eyesight and are capable of spotting targets at extreme range. When using any firearm, gunslingers have additional range, giving an extra 90 feet of long range for pistols and shotguns and 600 feet for rifles, at the same penalty as normal long-range attacks. You also have Fan the Hammer, and I'm sure plenty of you will love to use this. Gunslingers are capable enough with firearms to fire off several rounds in a matter of seconds. Gunslingers may fan the hammer at any point during a ranged attack action. Each additional shot after the first suffers a cumulative small penalty. However, if using their ghost irons, the original Deadeye die result applies to each shot fired. The firearm used must be a single action and the other hand must be empty. Spraying that much lead into the air doesn't allow for a lot of precision. Targets must be within 10 feet of one another, from the last target to the next target. Note that anyone can attempt to fan the hammer, but the gunslinger just does it better. That is, normal folk take a greater penalty to their shots. Then we have information on the ghost iron. A gunslinger should choose a pair of pistols at first level that represents the firearms possessed by the spirit of vengeance. The majority of ghost irons are pistols. However, judges may allow rifles or shotguns to be chosen should they not mind making a few adjustments that might arise. The spirit possessing the weapon is in essence intertwined with the weapon, meaning calaveras and sin eaters are unable to see the bound spirit of the original owner lingering in the near. Ghost irons are immune to abilities that affect the undead. These ghost irons have many special properties. For example, there are ghost loads. Ghost irons have the ability to transform normal ammunition into rounds that consist of supernatural energy. There's also lightning draw. Gunslingers constantly practice their draw, honing their reflexes to shave off fractions of a second. Being able to split a hair on a rat 300 feet away means nothing if the hombre you are facing down is quicker on the draw. Gunslingers use their reflex save bonus in place of agility when rolling for initiative. There's also Trail Companion. No gunslinger will be worth a watered-down whiskey without a trusty horse, dog, or other animal companion. Gunslingers share a special empathic bond with their companions and may teach them special tricks. They also grant their animal companion bonuses to hit points and armor class. There's also Trickshot. One ability imparted to the gunslinger by their ghostly mentor is an uncanny sense of aim. Whatever gun skill the gunslinger had before being chosen is enhanced, allowing for cult shots that defy all logic. A gunslinger can declare a trick shot once per round and only when using the possessed irons. You declare a trick shot before rolling any attack dice. Once declared, roll the Deadeye die along with the standard ranged attack die. The result of the Deadeye die counts as a ranged attack modifier. If the result is successful and the Deadeye die is 3 or higher, the trick shot is a success. Trick shots can add cinematic effects to an attack, shooting through a hangman's rope, blasting a lantern to start a fire, shooting a pistol out of an enemy's hand, or any other display of precision. You have many examples. However, it is recommended that your gunslinger comes up with his or her own special or signature trick shots to become truly legendary. Let's talk about some of these trick shots. You have Free Bleeder. Gunslingers are known for the deadly accuracy of their firearms, and rightly so. One tactic often used by the shootist is to aim for an area that holds an artery or other area that will continue bleeding, thus causing the target distress from the added effects of the attack. So maybe you obtain the result of the gunslinger's attack nicks the brow of their target, causing a trickle of blood to flow from above the eye. Targets will continue to bleed for 1 hit point of damage and suffer a penalty to attack rolls for a number of rounds. Or maybe the bullet finds its way to a vital spot, severing an artery. Blood sprays the target in a gory display, spurting with every heartbeat until the wound is dressed and pressure applied for a number of rounds. Until tended, the wound inflicts additional damage in bleeding each round. The target must pass a fortitude save, with a difficulty matching the total attack roll to avoid passing out from the loss of blood. You also have Pistol Whip. Sometimes a gunslinger must get into the thick of things, and reloading isn't an option. Gunslingers can take the butt of a pistol or rifle and send teeth flying with minimal effort. Pistol whipping is a melee attack, of course. You could obtain the result of the gunslinger spins, bringing the butt of their weapon down hard into the target. A successful strike results in a crushing blow to the target's skull, causing damage and stunning the target for one round. Maybe you obtain more damage, but it also counts as a critical hit. You also have Turn'em Yeller. The gunslinger pulls their irons and shows off their fancy skills with a flashing display of spins and tosses of the firearm. The effect unnerves their opponents, making them think twice about drawing down on someone so in tune with their irons. To use Turn'em Yeller, the gunslinger must gain initiative on their target and use the Trickshot before coming under attack from the chosen target or targets. To determine success, you roll a d20 modified by personality, in addition to the Deadeye die instead of an attack roll. Maybe you obtain the result of one chosen opponent within sight must immediately pass a will save versus a difficulty matching the total of the roll. Failure results in a penalty to attacks should the target choose to target the gunslinger. Or maybe you obtain the result of up to 1d4 opponents within sight must immediately pass a will save versus a difficulty matching the total of the roll. So this is somewhat similar. Failure results in a penalty to attacks should the targets choose to target the gunslinger, and additionally, the gunslinger gains a positive modifier on all attack rolls against affected targets for a number of rounds after rattling their nerves so successfully. And this concludes this part of the review for today. I think that both of these classes are amazing when it comes to specific roles within the party or group. For example, the gambler can save the day, can turn around the entire situation if he gets that lucky draw. And all of the features and abilities depending on his mojo die, you never know what sort of boost you are going to obtain. However, on the other hand, you may end up with a terrible result or a result that does not fit a particular situation. What if you wanted to finish off an enemy quite quickly and you obtain an effect that grants you healing or protection? What if it's the other way around? Maybe you want to protect yourself or a member of the group, to heal them or to protect them in some way, and you obtain a result that deals damage or is more utility based in other ways. So this is a very unpredictable wild card sort of character class. You want to spend those effects, in my opinion, when you are at half hit points to see what you obtain. Don't wait until you are very wounded, because you can never know what sort of effect you are going to end up with. On the other hand, if things are going dire, maybe you are going to be pulling some random effects consecutively that will save the entire situation. Now, when it comes to the gunslinger, he feels a lot like a Wild West paladin. You have that sort of code that is tied to the spirit of vengeance enchanting your firearms, but you also have other features such as the animal companion, so you feel a bit like a combination of ranger and paladin, especially concerning your skills of the trade related to hunting, horsemanship and the like. So it's sort of like a ranger and paladin of the Wild West. And of course, he is a perfect frontline combatant, very different from the Calavera, who is focused a bit more on crowd control. You are more focused on dealing damage and using strategies and tactics based on your trick shot. But if you really want someone who gets into the thick of things, who is potentially the tank of the group, you want to take a look at the luchador. We will talk about that character class in the next part of this review. Thank you for watching this part of the review. If you have any comments or questions, please let me know. And thank you so much to those of you that have been supporting the channel by sending drive-thru RPG gift certificates. If anyone else wants to further support the channel, the information on how to do that will be in the description below. Once again, thank you, and see you later.